Good morning, everybody. That is for you. There's a motion. The motion is Senator Devanzo. Is there a second? Second. All right, all in favor? All right. That be the end of you, Representative Devanzo. Former member. We aim to please. Good morning. This meeting of the House Transportation Committee is now called to order. The meeting is being broadcasted and recorded. Evan, can you please take roll?
Chairman Nielsen.
Here.
Bellman. Curry.
Designation.
Guzman. Hohenstein. Isaacson. Madsen.
Designation.
McAndrew. Mullins. O'Mara.
Designation.
Powell.
Designation.
Sappy.
Designation.
Schusterman.
Designation.
Siegel.
Designation.
Chairman Benninghoff.
Here.
Bernstein.
Designation.
Devanzo. Blood. Ham.
Designation.
Labs. Rinkavage.
Designation.
Shurin. Schmidt.
Designation.
Smith. Stambaugh. Tomlinson.
Designation.
We have a quorum. The chair calls up House Bill 71, printers number 59, introduced by Representative Brian Smith. Josiah, can you please read a summary of the bill?
House Bill 71 allows a motor vehicle that is towing a trailer to use safety cables in lieu of safety chains. This is currently a requirement when you use a ball and socket type hitch. The vehicle code currently says chains must be used, but there have been advancements in technology, and now cables can be used just as well and just as safely. There is no known opposition.
Thank you, Josiah. The question is, will the committee report the bill? I recognize the prime sponsor, Representative Brian Smith, to please speak on the bill.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate you bringing this bill up again this session. Hopefully we can get it clear over the hurdle this session. But this bill came about because of a constituent who was pulling a small trailer and got pulled over in my district, and it had plastic-coated cables on it because that's how it was manufactured in another state. Other states have no issue with these cables. They are as strong as the chains, and he did a lot of research, called the company, found this all out, and brought it to me. So I've brought this bill forward to try and get the law changed so that when the people are pulling these smaller trailers, they can use the plastic-coated cables. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Representative. Are there any other comments or questions on House Bill 71? Chairman Benninghoff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for bringing this bill up. As some will know, we did pass this out of committee last year. I would tell you that the cables may actually be stronger. If you see what the design of them are, chains can break. I think people have the misnomer that they don't break, can't break. But when they do, they come flying back with a fury towards the direction of motion. So I would encourage support of this bill. Thank you.
On the question, the chair recognizes nobody else. Anybody else? The vote will now be taken. Those in favor, are there any negative votes on House Bill 71? Seeing none, House Bill 71 will be reported. Representative Madsen has also joined us in person. The chair now calls up House Bill 205, printers number 153, introduced by Representative Jeannie McNeil. Kyle, can you please give us a summary of the bill?
House Bill 205 by Representative Jeannie McNeil. This bill provides that a vehicle lessee shall not be liable for any penalty or early termination charge of a leased vehicle if the lessee's driving privileges have been recalled by PennDOT for medical reasons. This does not apply if there's another member of the lessee's household who regularly uses the vehicle. A lessee seeking to terminate a lease must provide to the lessor a copy of the PennDOT notice of medical license recall and return the vehicle to the lessor. This act will only apply to leases for motor vehicles entered into with a lessee with a billing address located in Pennsylvania on or after the effective date Last session, this bill was amended and approved by the committee by a vote of 21-0, and it passed the House 146-57, and there is one amendment filed to the bill.
Thank you, Kyle. The question is, will the committee report the bill? I offer Amendment A00765. Kyle, can you please read a summary of the amendment?
Amendment A00765 by Chairman Nielsen. This amendment is agreed to by the prime sponsor. This amendment makes the following changes. It requires the leaseholder to provide notice of medical recall to the lessor within 45 days of the recall's issuance. The recall notice must be provided to the lessor prior to the grounding or return of the leased vehicle. It states that this bill does not apply to a leaseholder in default on the lease or who has a cosigner. It allows the lessor to collect other charges unrelated to the early termination of the lease, including excess wear and tear, excess mileage, disposition fees, fines, and taxes to the leased vehicles, and all other amounts due and unpaid under the lease as of the date of termination. It states that this bill only applies to leases executed in Pennsylvania on or after the effective date, and it requires the lessee to provide the license recall notice to the lessor prior to the grounding or return of the leased vehicle.
The question is, will the committee agree to the amendment? I ask the members to support this amendment. The amendment is agreed to by the prime sponsor and simply tightens up the language. These changes are based on feedback provided by the Pennsylvania Bankers Association and the Pennsylvania Chamber of Business and Industry. Are there any comments or questions on Amendment A00765? Chairman Benninghoff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do believe that this makes things better for those that may have some concerns with this, and it is my understanding this is on contracts going forward from the time that this bill would be adopted, nothing current.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Appreciate the clarification.
Vote will now be taken. Those in favor of adopting Amendment A00765, are there any opposition to the amendment? Seeing none. One.
Let the record reflect Representative Ham would like to be, well, I guess he's knowing the bill, but I think he would accept an amendment. I apologize.
That's all right. That's all right. Are we all good down there? All right. Seeing no negative votes on the amendment, Amendment A00765 is adopted. Now, the question recurs, will the committee report the bill as amendment? I ask the members to support this bill. The prime sponsor is here with us today, and I'd ask Representative McNeil if she would like to speak on her legislation.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair Nielsen and Chair Benninghoff and members of the committee. I actually miss being on this committee. Losing the ability to drive due to medical reasons can be a challenging experience for families. Often the situation requires individuals to sell or transfer their vehicle to another family member. However, if it's a leased vehicle, paying off the remaining balance and termination fees can become a significant financial burden, along with the person probably not being able to hold a job and earn income to help pay this off. This bill would allow individuals to terminate vehicle leases early if a medical professional determines they are unfit to drive safely. This determination must be reported to PennDOT as required by law. The individual will return the vehicle and will only be responsible for any damage incurred. It would also prohibit financing companies and dealerships from charging early termination fees or penalties, and individuals would not be held accountable for the remaining balance on this lease. Being diagnosed as medically unfit to drive is a life-altering experience. It's unfair to someone to also have to bear the additional financial burden of paying off a lease and termination fees that a vehicle they will no longer be able to drive. I hope you will support me in this legislation and support Pennsylvania families by alleviating this financial burden. I ask you for an affirmative vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Are there any other comments or questions on House Bill 205 as amended? Seeing none, are there any negative votes? And let the record reflect Representative Ham will be voting negative. Any other negative votes? Seeing none, the vote count is 25-1 and will be reported out of the committee. Chair calls up House Bill 260, printer number 206, introduced by Representative Russ Diamond. Josiah, can you please give us a summary of the bill? Oh, Jake, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 260 is sponsored by Representative Diamond. The bill increases the reimbursement for liquid fuels tax paid on undyed diesel fuel used in truck refrigeration units from 75 gallons to 100 gallons per purchase. The bill is supported by the Department of Revenue, PA Motor Truck Association, and PA Manufactured Housing Association. There are no amendments.
Thank you, Jake. The question is, will the committee report the bill? I ask the members to support the bill. Are any comments or questions on House Bill 260? Seeing none, are there any negative votes on House Bill 260? Seeing none, House Bill 260 will be reported as committed. The chair calls up House Bill 593, printers number 601, introduced by myself. Kyle, can you please give us a summary of the bill?
House Bill 593 by Chairman Ed Nielsen. This bill establishes a timeline and requires PennDOT to complete certain steps in processing abandoned vehicles and certificates of salvage within 10 business days. These steps include PennDOT must notify by certified mail the last known registered owner of the vehicle and all lien holders of record. If the identity of the last registered owner or lien holders cannot be determined, a notice must be published one time in one newspaper of general circulation. PennDOT must process the authorization for the disposal of the abandoned vehicle within 10 business days. The application for a certificate of salvage must be approved or denied by PennDOT within 10 business days, and PennDOT must review a salvage report within 10 business days of receipt. Last session, this bill was approved by the committee 25-0, and it passed the House 201-1, and there are no amendments filed to the bill.
Thank you, Kyle. Question is, will the committee report the bill? I ask all the members to support the bill. After clearing a scene of an accident or recovering an abandoned vehicle from the side of the road, tow truck operators often hold vehicles in storage till the owner claims the property. In some cases, these vehicles are simply abandoned, forcing tow truck operators to file paperwork with PennDOT to obtain a junk title. Recently, the paperwork has taken significantly longer. The process with tow truck operators sometimes waiting as long as 6 months to get these documents from PennDOT. This legislation will fix that. Are there any other comments or questions on House Bill 593? Are there any negative votes? Seeing on House Bill 593 will be reported as committed. And that ends up today. But before we go, we are in the middle of the budget. Please keep an eye on things. We don't know when we're going to call a meeting off the floor. It is a fluent process this budget season has been. And if anybody's in the Alleghenies, like the Van Zone, the next weekend, the chairman, as you can see right here, will be at Oakmont, all right, visiting the majestic Allegheny River. Joe, isn't that what you call it? There you go. That's the only reason I'm going. I'm going to drive by, and I'm going to drive by Joe's house. But all kidding aside, but please keep your eye on everything. It's real fluent, and hopefully we can get. We've been fighting. This committee's been fighting for transportation funding, whether it's infrastructure or transit, all modes of transportation for the last few years. And hopefully during this budget cycle, we can actually get something over the threshold to help not only our roads and bridges, but our airports, our ports, and public transit. Thank you all for doing the work you do. Appreciate it, and we'll see you soon. This meeting is adjourned.